a rusty bicycle hanging in an old barn, a forgotten sign covered in dust. Most people would walk right past them. Mike Wolfe saw something different. He saw history. That simple way of looking at the world helped turn an ordinary picker from a small town into one of television's most familiar faces. But years later, fans began asking a very different question. What really happened to the man who always seemed happiest on the open road? For more than a decade, millions tuned in to American Pickers. Week after week, viewers watched Mike travel across the United States, knocking on doors that most people would never think to open. Instead of searching for treasure buried underground, he searched for pieces of America's past hiding in garages, barns, and forgotten buildings. What made the show special wasn't just the old motorcycles, vintage signs, or rare antiques. It was Mike himself. His excitement felt real. Every discovery came with a story, and every story connected people to a different time in American history. Long before television cameras followed him, Mike had already spent years buying, selling, and saving forgotten collectibles. According to interviews he has given over the years, he began picking as a child in Iowa, finding discarded bicycles and other items that others overlooked. That hobby slowly became a lifelong passion. When American Pickers premiered on the History Channel in 2010, few expected it to become such a huge hit. The mix of history, adventure, and friendship struck a chord with audiences. Alongside Frank Fritz, Mike became one half of one of reality television's most recognizable duos. Their different personalities often led to funny moments, but they also made each discovery feel genuine. Yet fame has a way of changing everything. As the show's audience grew into the millions, so did the pressure that came with success. Behind the smiles, long road trips, and exciting finds, life was becoming far more complicated than viewers realized. And before long, events off camera would begin to overshadow everything fans thought they knew about Mike Wolfe. Success looked easy from the outside. Every season, Mike Wolfe was driving down quiet back roads, uncovering rare treasures, and meeting colorful people with amazing stories. American Pickers became one of the History Channel's biggest shows, drawing millions of viewers and turning Mike into a household name. He expanded beyond television, opening antique stores, restoring historic buildings, and speaking often about preserving America's forgotten history. It seemed like he was living the perfect life. But that wasn't the real story. The more successful the show became, the more demanding it also became. Filming meant constant travel, long hours, and months spent away from home. While viewers only saw the exciting discoveries, each episode required countless miles on the road, careful planning, negotiations, and production work that rarely appeared on camera. As the years passed, fans also noticed something else. The energy between Mike Wolfe and Frank Fritz didn't always seem the same. For years, the two had been the heart of American Pickers. Their different personalities balanced each other perfectly. Mike often focused on the history behind an item, while Frank brought humor and a different style of negotiating. Together, they helped make the series feel authentic. Then small changes began catching viewers' attention. Frank appeared in fewer episodes. Rumors quickly spread online. Some believed it was simply a scheduling issue. Others wondered if health problems were involved. Many assumed the longtime friends would soon be back together. The truth was far more complicated. Frank later revealed publicly that he had stepped away from the series after undergoing back surgery. He also spoke openly about living with Crohn's disease, a condition that had affected him for years. During interviews, he admitted that his recovery had been difficult and that returning to television wasn't as simple as many fans believed. Meanwhile, Mike continued filming the show. That decision sparked intense debate among viewers. Some supported him, believing the production had to move forward. Others questioned why the long-time partnership appeared to be falling apart. Social media quickly filled with speculation, but much of it was based on rumors rather than confirmed facts. Then another surprise made headlines. Mike's personal life was also changing. After nearly a decade of marriage, he and his wife, Jody Faith, divorced in 2021. Court records confirmed the split, though both largely kept the details private. Mike later shared that the period had been emotionally difficult, reminding fans that even public figures face struggles away from the spotlight. What would you have done if your closest friend and longtime business partner suddenly disappeared from your daily life? Share your thoughts in the comments. At the same time, Mike continued posting positive updates online, promoting new projects and celebrating the history he loved. To many fans, he appeared determined to keep moving forward, even as questions about his future and his friendship with Frank grew louder than ever. But nobody was prepared for what happened next. 4 years, Mike Wolfe and Frank Fritz seemed impossible to separate. They laughed together. They argued over prices. They celebrated incredible finds that most people would have ignored. Their friendship felt real, and that was a big reason why American Pickers became such a success. Then, almost overnight, everything changed. When Frank stopped appearing on the show, fans wanted answers. At first, many believed he was simply taking time off to recover from back surgery. Others hoped he would return once his health improved. But the silence lasted much longer than anyone expected. In 2021, the History Channel confirmed that Frank would not be returning to American Pickers. It was a turning point for the series. The announcement sparked thousands of comments online, with viewers wondering what had happened behind the scenes. Then came the interviews. Frank told several news outlets that he and Mike had not spoken for nearly 2 years. He admitted he was hurt by how things had unfolded and felt that their friendship had faded. Those comments shocked longtime fans because the pair had spent more than 2 decades building both a business and a television career together. Mike later responded publicly. In a heartfelt statement shared on social media, he said he had known Frank for more than half his life and described him as being like a brother. Mike wrote that he hoped Frank would receive the help he needed and wished him the very best. While the message showed compassion, it also made clear that the relationship had become deeply complicated. The truth is, neither man has ever shared every detail of what happened between them. That left room for endless speculation. Some people blamed fame. Others blamed business decisions. Still others believed personal misunderstandings slowly pushed the two friends apart. But none of those theories have been fully confirmed. What is confirmed is that Frank faced serious health challenges, and both men publicly acknowledged that their friendship had broken down. Then, in July 2022, another heartbreaking chapter began. Frank suffered a serious stroke at his Iowa home. The news spread quickly, and fans across the country expressed their support. Mike was among those who asked people to keep Frank in their thoughts and prayers, showing that despite everything that had happened, concern for his longtime friend remained. As Frank continued his recovery, the future of American Pickers became uncertain. Some viewers said the show would never feel the same without him. Others continued watching, believing Mike was doing his best to keep the series alive while honoring its original mission of preserving American history. If you're enjoying stories like this, subscribe now, because the biggest twist in Mike Wolfe's journey is still ahead. While fans were focused on the show's future, Mike himself was quietly facing another series of challenges. Ones that had nothing to do with television cameras, ratings, or antique treasures. Just because the cameras keep rolling doesn't mean life stands still. While American Pickers continued filming, Mike Wolfe was dealing with changes that no television episode could fully capture. To many viewers, he still looked like the same cheerful picker driving from town to town. But away from the road, his personal life had entered one of its most difficult chapters. One of the biggest changes came at home. In 2021, Mike and his wife, Jody Faith, officially divorced after nearly 10 years of marriage. The couple had largely kept their relationship out of the spotlight during the show's biggest years, so the news surprised many fans. Court records confirmed the divorce, but both Mike and Jody chose not to publicly discuss the private details of their separation. Instead of fueling rumors, Mike focused on moving forward. Over time, fans noticed him sharing more about his passion projects. He continued restoring old buildings in small American towns, especially in Columbia, Tennessee. Rather than tearing history down, Mike wanted to save it. Through interviews, he explained that preserving old buildings was just as important to him as rescuing vintage motorcycles or rare signs. He believed every place had a story worth protecting. But that wasn't the only challenge he would face. In June 2025, Mike was involved in a serious traffic accident in Tennessee. According to local authorities, another driver crossed the center line, causing a head-on collision. Mike suffered injuries and was hospitalized, but reports later confirmed that he was expected to recover. The crash reminded many fans how quickly life can change, even for someone who spends so much time traveling America's highways. The accident also sparked an outpouring of support. Fans filled social media with messages wishing him a speedy recovery. Many shared stories about how American pickers had inspired them to appreciate family heirlooms, visit antique shops, or learn more about local history. It was a reminder that Mike's influence reached far beyond television ratings. Around the same time, Mike continued sharing glimpses of his personal life, including his relationship with model and actress Letitia Cline. The two often appeared together at charity events, motorcycle gatherings, and community projects. While Mike remained private about many parts of his life, it was clear that he was surrounding himself with people and projects that brought him happiness. Have you ever faced a moment that completely changed your future? Maybe it was a loss, an accident, or an unexpected new beginning. Share your story in the comments. Someone else reading it may need that encouragement today. Yet through every setback, his divorce, the public fallout with Frank, and even a frightening accident, Mike kept returning to the same mission that had started his journey decades earlier, preserving pieces of America's past before they disappeared forever. But after everything he had been through, one question still remained. Was Mike Wolfe simply surviving the storms around him, or was he quietly building a completely new legacy? For many television stars, fame fades when the cameras stop rolling. Mike Wolfe chose a different path. Even after years of success, public criticism, personal loss, and constant rumors, he has stayed focused on the same dream that first inspired him as a young boy searching through forgotten piles of old bicycles and broken treasures. That dream was never just about finding valuable antiques. It was about saving stories before they disappeared forever. Today, Mike continues to lead American pickers, introducing viewers to collectors, mechanics, and everyday Americans whose memories are often hidden inside old barns and dusty garages. While the show has changed over the years, its central mission has remained the same: preserving pieces of history that might otherwise be lost. Outside television, Mike has become just as passionate about restoring historic buildings. In Columbia, Tennessee, he has invested time and resources into bringing aging structures back to life instead of watching them be torn down. Through interviews and social media, he has often explained that every old building represents a chapter of America's story. Saving those places, he believes, helps future generations understand where they came from. That philosophy has shaped nearly everything he does. Whether he's rescuing a century-old motorcycle, reopening a historic storefront, or supporting local communities, Mike has continued to prove that history isn't something locked inside museums. It lives in ordinary places and ordinary people. Of course, the questions have never completely disappeared. Some fans still wonder if Mike and Frank Fritz could ever have repaired their friendship. After Frank's passing in September 2024, those questions became even more emotional. Mike shared a heartfelt tribute, remembering the years they spent traveling America's back roads together and thanking Frank for the memories they created. While their relationship had faced painful challenges, Mike's words reflected respect, gratitude, and sadness rather than anger. For many viewers, it was a reminder that real life is rarely as simple as television. Friendships change. Families change. Dreams change. And sometimes, people carry regrets they never get the chance to fully resolve. That may be the saddest lesson of the entire story. But it also helps explain why American pickers meant so much to so many people. It wasn't really about rusty signs or vintage gas pumps. It was about people. Every item had a history. Every collection had a family behind it. Every forgotten object carried memories that someone refused to let disappear. Mike understood that from the very beginning. Perhaps that's why his journey continues to resonate with millions of viewers. He wasn't chasing treasure. He was chasing stories. And in doing so, he encouraged countless people to look at the past with fresh eyes, not as something outdated, but as something worth protecting. Looking back, Mike Wolfe's story isn't one of perfect success. It's a story of passion, hard work, painful setbacks, public scrutiny, and resilience. He built one of television's most beloved nonfiction series from an idea many people thought would never work. He endured personal heartbreak, watched friendships fracture, faced life-threatening moments, and still found reasons to keep moving forward. That doesn't make him perfect. It makes him human. And perhaps that's the real reason audiences have continued to watch him for more than a decade. Behind every road trip and every negotiation is someone who genuinely believes that forgotten things, and forgotten people, still matter. As long as there are old roads to travel and hidden stories waiting to be discovered, Mike Wolfe's journey may not be over yet. And if this story surprised you, There's another remarkable celebrity journey waiting to be uncovered in our next documentary, one with even more unexpected twists and hidden truths.